His ass, his peccadillos, his sexual peccadillos. The only thing that might change that is this is a 21-year-old girl when this is happening. She's 5 or 6 years older than his own daughter, who's upstairs in the White House while all this is going on. That may, the mothers of America may have some raised eyebrows here. I have no way of knowing. But what he's got to get out, he's got to find somebody to blame the Republicans for wanting to derail his agenda on children. And that forced him to tell her to lie, just so that his program wouldn't be interrupted by this partisanship. It'd be something like that if you want to talk about that.
Do you need to replace your inefficient heating system with a high-quality gas pack or heat pump? Then call New Hope Heating and Air, your Rheem dealer. Rheem heating and air units are tough and can take years of just about anything. To replace your inefficient air or heating system, just call New Hope Heating and Air, your Rheem dealer, and start enjoying the air of quality you get from a quiet Rheem heating, air conditioning, or heat pump unit. It's easy to get a Rheem unit for your home. Just call New Hope Heating and Air, a CP&L quality heat pump dealer, 778-3804.
During the winter months, bad weather is always a possibility. Severe weather can cause icy roads, damaging winds, and even snow. When bad weather occurs, turn to 1150 WGBR for complete coverage of all the weather conditions. WGBR will have the latest of any closings, cancellations, and delays that may be caused by any severe weather conditions, and any emergency information you might need. Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR.
Hear what everybody's talking about. 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro.
NBC Radio News. The White House was rocked by an early morning bombshell that Whitewater investigator Kenneth Starr expanded his probe to include allegations a Clinton advisor pressured a White House intern to lie about an affair she had with the president. Correspondent Peter Mayer has details.
President Clinton is outraged by the allegation. A spokesman says the president was also quite firm in calling on everyone to tell the truth. Clinton lawyer Robert Bennett also has a sharp reaction.
The president adamantly denies it. I smell a rat in all this.
Bennett and other Clinton lawyers have converged on the White House for a meeting with the president. Clinton aides are shocked by the allegation, but they are trying to convey a business-as-usual atmosphere. Spokesman Mike McCurry says after Clinton vented his outrage, he quickly resumed a foreign policy meeting. Peter Mayer, the White House.
Intern Monica Lewinsky signed an affidavit in the Paula Jones sexual harassment lawsuit denying she had a sexual relationship with Clinton. I'm Barbara Porter.
Aggressive investors, listen closely to how El Nino could impact world commodity markets. Nations around the world are bracing for the weather phenomenon known as El Nino. While some parts of the world have experienced severe hurricanes and floods, others could face impending drought, poor crop yields, and starvation. Find out why the Winter Group believes these catastrophic weather patterns could dramatically alter supplies and prices of commodities like sugar, corn, and soybeans. Call the Winter Group at 1-800-797-3277 for our free market report. Learn how a $6,000 investment in grain options could possibly return $25,000 or more on a $1 increase in your option value. That's right, a $1 increase in grain options could return as much as $25,000 on a $6,000 investment. The preceding was a mathematical leverage example and does not imply that clients have or will achieve similar results. People can and do lose money, therefore only risk capital should be utilized. But if you believe successful investing requires accurate timing, call the Winter Group at 1-800-797-3277.
The Pope begins a 5-day visit to communist Cuba in a few hours, a nation that once forced its Catholics into hiding. Correspondent Bob Fuss says it's a big day as Cubans await the imminent arrival of the pontiff, but there are some worries about whether he's up to the trip.
There certainly is concern about the Pope's health. He's 77 and ailing and has been in poor shape. He can no longer bend down to kiss the ground when he arrives in a new country. Today, Cuban children will scoop up some soil to hand to him. But still, the Pope is embarking on a grueling schedule, with large crowd events and smaller meetings each of the next 5 days that will take him from one end of Cuba to the other.
On the flight over, the Pope called on the U.S. to change its embargo against Cuba. State Farm is suing Ford Motor Company, saying the carmaker tried to hide widespread ignition switch problems that led to fires and millions of dollars worth of insurance claims. State Farm says there are millions of cars still on the road that have the faulty switch. Ford denies that. The insurer wants the number 2 U.S. car maker to either foot the bill for the claims or replace the vehicles. Opening arguments beginning today in the lawsuit by Texas Cattlemen against Oprah Winfrey. A 12-member jury in Amarillo seated to hear the first test case of the so-called veggie libel law. The cattlemen claim Oprah maligned beef on one of her programs on mad cow disease. Palestinian leader Arafat arrives in the U.S. later today for tomorrow's talks with President Clinton. Yesterday, it was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's turn. He denied that the meetings went nowhere.
Israel wants to get a final peace settlement with the Palestinians. We made some suggestions. We're prepared to withdraw from some territory, but not in a way as to in any way jeopardize Israel's security.
At issue, the stalled Israeli troop pullback on the West Bank. John Gotti Jr., the reported successor to his father as the head of the Gambino crime family, indicted today on racketeering charges. On Wall Street, the Dow down 102. With NBC Radio News, I'm Barbara Porter.
How would you like to be able to read the morning newspaper in 10 minutes, or polish off a novel on your lunch break, or read all about your new computer in one evening? Think about that, because when you go through the new Reading Genius Home Study course, you'll read so much faster, you'll be astounded at how quickly you get to the last page. The Reading Genius Home Study course is easy, it's systematic, it takes just a few short hours, and anybody can do it. You'll read 200% faster than you do right now with better memory and comprehension, or your money back. That includes business publications, newspapers, novels, self-help books, even technical reading. This is the same reading technology that's been used by employees at Apple Computer and Hewlett-Packard and average readers who have become some of the world's fastest readers. Reading Genius improves your reading speed and memory by 200% or your money back. Call 1-800-480-5573. Again, that's 1-800-480-5573.
Ahoy, mate! The captain is sailing to you. Captain Bob's Seafood Catering Service can feed your crew a country buffet, a steakout, or a down east favourite, a pig picking, right where you want it. You bring the people, they'll do the rest. Call 778-8332 for catering information. Captain Bob's Seafood, 430 North Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro. Ahoy, mate! Let the captain sail to you with his catering service at Captain Bob's Seafood. Call 778-8332.
Another shot of wet weather coming our way, but before that, we do have one more day to dry out the ground a little bit. For today, mixed bag of clouds and high clouds and sunshine. It'll be seasonably cool with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. The clouds thicken up across the region tonight, mid to upper 30s for the low, and then cloudy with occasional rain tomorrow morning, becoming a steady rain through the afternoon, with highs tomorrow holding in the 40s. I'm meteorologist Chris Thompson in the Weather Center.
Performing my job with flawless broadcast excellence, this is Rush Limbaugh on WGBR. So we are back. Broadcast excellence and Rush Limbaugh, the most listened to radio talk show in America today. Over 600 radio stations, 20 million people a week tuning in, and today is why. 800-282-2882 is the number. I want to, we had to run through something very quickly there with the last call in the previous hour. And I want to, so many people want to speculate here because of past experience. How is Clinton going to get out of this? And we had a guy who said that the last call said, well, probably in front of a fireplace with he and Hillary holding hands in the residence and so forth. The speculation is for fun only. Let's put that out there. But here's what I think: if that is to happen, and by the way, I want to warn you that with the experience we also have, I would not assume that anything here is going to end up the way you would like it to. Just based on the experience we have. But What the president has to get out of is not the affair. He doesn't have to get out of that. He doesn't have to explain that away. That's not his main problem here. If the allegations on the tape made by Monica Lewinsky are true, what he's somehow got to slither out of is advising her to lie under oath. So if you want to apply yourself to that, well, how can he do that? Let's just assume, for the sake of the program, that these allegations are substantive, and there's evidence that the president and Vernon Jordan urged her to lie under oath. So how's he get out of this? Here is one possible way. The president calls a press conference. Not a press conference, speech in the Oval Office or from the residence or wherever. Go something like this. My fellow Americans, for 5 years, we have been working as hard as we ever have to implement an agenda for your children, for our children, for the environment, to balance the budget, to right the wrongs of the previous 15 years before I came here. At every turn, our enemies have attempted to derail our agenda for your kids, for your children. But we've stood fast, we have paid no attention to it, and no administration has ever been assaulted on a daily basis like this one. And we haven't complained about it. We have done whatever we've done for you, for your children, for the future of America, for that bridge to the 21st century. But all of a sudden now, here come the Republicans. The Republicans don't want education for your children. The Republicans don't want a clean environment. Republicans don't want you to have a more fruitful, enjoyable life. And they would stop at nothing. I know what you want. You want health care for every American. You want Medicare for your senior citizen relatives. You want clean air and clean water. You don't want global warming to boil your bathwater. And I am committed, and I have always been committed to following through on this agenda. Republicans have tried to derail me at every turn. Now we come with this Paula Jones allegations, and I must admit, I lost my head. I could find no way out. I did tell that woman to lie, and I apologize, but it was for your children. I just couldn't be derailed. If I am not here to move this agenda forward, who knows what the Republicans will do to it? And I was simply lying for you. To protect our kids, to protect our environment, to protect health care for all Americans. I'm terribly sorry for this. I shouldn't have done it. Terribly sorry. It'll never happen again. But even that doesn't get him out of it. That apology is not going to let the law go, oh, he's sorry, he didn't mean it, and out of there. But in terms of his reputation, legacy, and all that, it's got to be something like that, because that's what he's done in the past. Other than just flat denial, I wouldn't be surprised. He's outraged at these allegations. I'm outraged. I can't believe this. This is the last straw. I have been nice up to now putting up with this, but no more. The fact that they would say this about me, the fact somebody would say this about me, I've been nice to everybody in this White House. It's never, and just flat deny, because that's really the MO. Deny, all the way to the lockup. Go to the phones. We have by no means exhausted public opinion on this. We'll go to Hereford, Arizona. David, hello. Glad you called. You're up first this hour.
Well, how you doing, Mr. Limbaugh? It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you.
Your apology that you just did, Mr. Snerdley said to be quick, so I will, but your apology that you just went through presupposes that the man honestly thinks that he can't get away with this. And we both know he knows he's going to get away with it. Back to the subject. We really need to ease off on the shark feed that we've got going on. The reason for this is it only serves the Democrats. If you don't believe that, just remember what happened with the phone calls. Sunday morning talk shows started talking about, all it's coming from talk radio, which immediately casts a pall upon whatever is being said. What we need to do is just sit back and watch. This is going to be wonderful theater. All right, we're going to watch him twist and turn and we're going to see all of his supporters doing their absolute level best to take and imitate Carvel, much like your first caller did the last hour.
Yeah, those guys are going to be red. I think we frightened those guys off. We've been looking for them, did you happen to see Good Morning America today? Did you happen to see George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America today?
George is one of those lifeboat rats, okay? He's looking out for his future now.
But did you see George Stephanopoulos on Good Morning America?
Yes.
Well, did you hear what he said?
I caught his tone. I was busy getting some stuff taken care of for my kids.
All right. Here's what he said. Quote, if these allegations are true, they're not only political damaging, but could lead to impeachment proceedings. That's George Stephanopoulos. That's not the standard defense. That's not the Clinton defense team trying to sound like Carville. This is different. Lynette in Grand Rapids, Michigan, hello, and welcome to the EIB. You got a former advisor to the White House on Good Morning America mentioning the impeachment possibility. Yes, Lynette, hello.
Rush, mega dittos. This is quite an honor.
Thank you.
And I'm nervous. I was just calling to say at the top of the hour, I'm a homeschooling mom, and I was listening to the news, and they mentioned that Clinton had told his aides that no matter what, to tell the truth. And I just died laughing. My kids asked me, what are you laughing about? I thought that was just hysterical. And that they could even say it seriously.
Well, this is what I know. I mentioned this in the first hour. This is what I mean about people acting like this is something new. It's old news. The affair is old news. Clinton lying is old news. Clinton asking others to lie is old news. For those of you who are just joining us, briefly, let me run through this. The liberals find themselves in a box. The liberals have said throughout the 5 years of the Clinton administration, hey, private life, don't look at it. It's nobody's business. It has nothing to do with how he's president, how he governs. It has nothing to do with it. Why have they said that? Why have they said private life is irrelevant? Because they know what's in the private life. Ergo, this is old news. Now they've got themselves in a box because it's the private life that's causing all this trouble. Proving my and your contention all along that character does matter. The private life does connect to the public life. Now, as to the business of telling the truth and all that, it's a joke. I think that just go back and look when we were discovering these videotapes of all these White House coffee clatches. Remember they held on to all these videotapes, and the president, I didn't know they were holding on to those. When I found out about that, I said, get those out. Get them out. He knows. The FBI files, we still don't have the truth about who got them, where they are, why they were there. We don't know who hired Craig Livingstone. Don't tell me that it's news that these people tell the truth. And here's McCurry out there saying that the president demands that the truth get out. The president tells everybody to tell the truth all the time. It's a laugher. And which is my point. None of this is new. It's all old news. The thing that makes this one tough for everybody is the suborning perjury allegation. That is on the tapes. This woman, Monica Lewinsky, says that the president told her to deny that he and she were having an affair in a deposition. That's going to be tough to extricate himself from. Scott in Highland Lakes, New Jersey, you're next on the EIB Network. Hello.
Hi, Rush. Megaditto.
Thank you.
I just think it's interesting, according to a report I read online this morning, that they may already be getting ready for Ms. Lewinsky to reverse herself. According to this quote from her attorney, he says, at this time, she stands by her decision. And I didn't know if you had not seen that.
Stands by her decision or statement?
Her declaration.
Her declaration. Deposition, yeah. Yeah, this, by the way, this is a new attorney. Her attorney quit after the deposition.
Mm-hmm.
And this attorney was hired by Vernon Jordan. The new attorney is William Ginsburg, and he confirmed that Starr is investigating his client's involvement with Clinton, and he has portrayed her as an innocent victim of the political system, which, if this is true, she's not an innocent victim of the political system at all. I don't know how innocent she is, but she's not a victim of the political system. She's a victim of the peccadillos of the President of the United States. But that's to be discovered and learned later, whether or not there's any substance to that allegation. But that is her problem now. She's got this deposition where she swore under oath that none of this happened. Now there's a tape where she is graphically describing what happened. She has to square that. And what she's got to square is this deposition. The only way that she can get out of this deposition is to ask for immunity, exemption from punishment, if she changes her story. That's where everybody is in a bind here. And does anybody at the administration still have an ability to get their hooks into her and tell her, whatever you do, do not change your story? So this is hot and heavy for that single reason. I have to take a break here, my good friends, but be patient. We'll be back with more of your comments in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Today's Health Minute is from the nutritional experts, Natrol.
Do your New Year's resolutions include losing weight? I'm Dr. Bruce Hensel. The average American gains 8 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Most of us go about losing it the wrong way. Here's the right way. Don't starve yourself. It backfires. Drink 6 glasses of water a day and eat small, frequent meals. Reduce the calories and fat in your diet, of course. If you do eat fat or complex carbs like pasta, do so early in the day when you can burn it off. Lose weight slowly. Those holiday pounds will stay off.
Dieting is never easy, but Natrol Tonilin may help. Natrol Tonilin is derived from pure natural sunflower oil, a rich source of CLA, that's conjugated linoleic acid. Studies reveal that CLA may play a key role in reducing fat and increasing muscle tone. Researchers think it might even be the missing link for fat control. Just 2 capsules before mealtime, and Natrol Tonilin just might make your dieting a little easier. Natrol Tonilin is available where fine nutritional supplements are sold.
At Courtyard by Marriott, our special weekend rates range from $49 to $64 a night. On the other hand, the cost of sleeping on your relative's floor ranges from a sore back to elevated blood pressure. And unlike Courtyard, your relatives probably won't throw in a whirlpool or mini gym. Rates good Thursday through Sunday through February 22nd at participating locations. Restrictions apply. Call your travel agent or 800-321-2211 at least 2 days in advance.
If you're thinking of buying new carpet this year, take advantage of the buying power of over 500 stores nationwide at Knowles Carpet in Goldsboro. Tremendous savings on all your carpet needs and a variety of brands, styles, and fabric combinations. Knowles also features Karastan Oriental rugs. When you're ready to recarpet, let Knowles Carpet help you save through their association with Carpet One, America's largest carpet retailer. Knowles Carpet, 2311 Wayne Memorial Drive, Goldsboro. Quality flooring expertly installed.
At Scott Motor Company, customers get cash back because we know cash is king.
During the month of January, get $750 cash back on V6 Pontiac Firebird, $750 cash back on Pontiac Sunfires, $1,500 cash back on 98 Grand Ams, and up to $1,500 cash back on Pontiac Bonneville SE.
For you know cash is good.
Hey, what about those interest rates? How about as low as 1.9% on the hot new Buick LeSabre, Buick Park Avenue, and sleek Buick Riviera? 1.9%. Big cash back and low interest rates are 2 great reasons to get your new automobile today. Make January your month for cash back and low interest rates at Scott Motor Company, Pontiac Buick GMC truck, where this month cash is king. Call today, 1-800-951-SCOTT, or visit Scott Motor Company, located Highway 70 bypass in Goldsboro.
You're out there working day in, day out, in the hot seat, making decisions, making sure things are done right, getting the job done. While you're out there, who's minding your financial concerns? Will you be able to retire when you want, educate the kids, take that vacation you've been planning? Personal financial advisors with American Express Financial Advisors can help you reach those goals. Call Tom Daniels, 580-7114. Tom Daniels, 580-7114. American Express Financial Advisors, your personal and business financial planning company.
Pope and Fidel just got pushed off the front page. Rush Limbaugh at 1-800-282-2882 to Torrance, California. John, glad you called, sir. You're up.
Yeah, well, it's Tom, but I'll go by Tom or John. Rob Reiner was on a TV show here, a couple of months ago, and the interviewer was asking him, he says, how about this Paula Jones stuff? And Rob Reiner comes out and he says, well, that doesn't mean anything. You know, what the guy does in the past has no bearing on his life. It's what he's doing in the White House today that counts. Well, all right, let's take a look at what's happening in the White House today. How are these guys going to come out now with a straight face and say, well...
Easily.
Well, more likely, yeah. But, I mean, it just goes to show, you know, no matter what they do to defend this guy, there is something always popping up in the background.
Yeah, but here's... I'm going to take your question seriously because this is what you have to know in terms of the answer. What will Rob Reiner say now? What do all the Clinton defenders say now? What you've got to understand, folks, is what I'm telling you. The Clinton defenders have known all this all along. That's why the defense of it's his private life or it's his past doesn't matter. That's why they come up with that. It's what he's doing as president, his policies. That's what counts. So they're going to say the same thing about this. They're going to say this is nothing more than Republican partisanship, a Republican vicious attack. Because the thing that you've got to understand about people like Rob Reiner or any of these other supporters of the president is that they would prefer Bill Clinton as a convicted felon running the country from jail to any conservative in power. If you don't understand that, you don't understand liberals, and you don't understand their devotion to this president and administration. It's not personal. It's not that they personally love Clinton and think he's a great guy, although some might. It's he's the wall. He's our one hope against these totalitarian Republicans forcing moral judgments on us in our lives. Clinton is the one guy that allows us to get away with being who we are. I mean, it's so if you're looking for all of these defenders of Clinton to come up and admit that they were wrong, it isn't going to happen. You should set yourself up. You're really going to set yourself up for major disappointment if you're looking for an opportunity to go nya to these guys. It ain't going to happen. They're not going to give you that chance. Salado, Texas. Karen, hello. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Hi, Rush.
Hi.
You were right again. The attacks on Ken Starr have already started. I've been watching CNN this morning, and particularly on burden of proof, Greta Van Susteren has used, I jotted down some phrases. The whole focus of the show was about why is Ken Starr investigating this. She used phrases like entrapment. She asked one of the guests, what is it with Ken Starr? Is he just out to get the president? She asked whether or not, actually, Monica Lewinsky's attorney talked to them by phone, and she asked him, has Ken Starr threatened her? These are the kinds of things they're already switching the focus to. Why is Ken Starr doing this?
Okay, well, let's take some of these because, and I'll go to CNN. They interrupted breaking news, Greta Van Susteren's show.
Right.
And they went to Bob Franken.
Right.
Where Bob Franken proceeded to answer some of Greta Van Susteren's questions and, in the process, nuked them out of the park. For one, Ken Starr doesn't like being associated with this. He's not crazy. This is Bob Franken, a liberal reporter for CNN, saying Starr is nervous about this. He doesn't like the fact that this has been made public. He doesn't like the fact that he's in on it. He explained that Starr took the case on because some of the names Monica Lewinsky talks about in these tapes are the same people he's been looking into in Whitewater. It's that connection. It's not that Starr is looking at this incident trying to nail Clinton because he's failed in Whitewater. It's because she's talking about people that Starr is looking into. So all of Greta's questions were answered. And Greta, look, she still thinks O.J. didn't do it. The bottom line is that this is not entrapment. This happens to be how John Gotti was put in jail. This sort of thing happens, and these are wires, and the independent counsel has the legal right to do this. Both people participating in it were aware of it. Well, the Monica Lewinsky wasn't, but Starr and the Tripp woman were aware of it. So this is, they had her deposition, and they've got contradictory opinion. They wanted to get verification of it. So, you know, Greta's looking very good, like an apologist for the administration here, but she's not demonstrating too accurate an interpretation of the law, if you ask me. Thanks, Karen, for the phone call. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Dick, you're up next.
Thank you very much. And to the point, Rush, the one person who can save Bill, and for a price, Hillary Clinton. She is going to be the one who's going to, who has credibility with the American public. She's going to be the supportive wife. My man, Bill, my husband, your president, I love him, I trust him, I believe in him, as you, his people, must too.
Yeah, but
stand by my man. And one other point, what a political coup for her it would be, Rush. If she's wrong, she has been wronged for her next campaign.
But, again, this is not going to be about the affair. This is not about another or the other woman. This is about perjury, suborning perjury. Hillary could go on television all day and talk about how she loves her husband. It isn't going to sway anybody. If it is established that Bill Clinton asked a 23-year-old girl to lie under oath in a deposition, she can defend him all day long. And I wouldn't also agree with you that her credibility is all that great with the American people. John in Katona, New York. Hello. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Rush.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. Nice to have you with us.
Rush, I think I got an idea how he might try to weasel out of this one. And like most of the things, I think we've seen it before with him. Do you remember with Roger Altman, the guy who testified that he lied to his diary?
That was Josh Steiner.
Yeah. I got a feeling he's going to come out and just say this woman was bragging to a friend, claiming that she had an affair with the president when she didn't. And just as a little icing on the cake, if they can get to her again, they might even get her to admit that she lied to the tape.
Possible.
Yeah, I mean, I just...
Possible. She's been very graphic on these tapes. There are hours and hours of these tapes. She's apparently been very graphic. It's going to be... Still could come down to his word versus hers. That's not a bad thought, though, John. Got to take a break. We're at the bottom of the hour. We resume shortly on the Rush Limbaugh program. Well, you've been hearing a lot about Clean Shower, an incredible product that eliminates the need to clean your shower. Just a daily mist of Clean Shower will render your shower spotless with absolutely no work. The shopper in your house needs to know this information, so tell them about Clean Shower. Don't be afraid to tell them, because Clean Shower is 100% guaranteed. Now, be careful of fakes or phonies or frauds. There are a lot of them out there, but they're fake. Don't get them. Get the real thing. Get Clean Shower. Remember, they guarantee.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
It's time for a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR. Wayne County school officials are wanting to further develop their grant writing team so they can capitalize on the money available for public education. School Administrator Dr. Craig McFadden says sometimes federal and state grants are missed because the school system simply does not have the necessary staff to apply for every single grant that becomes available. Wayne County Public Schools did not receive one dime of nearly $7 million in state school improvement grants approved recently by the State Board of Education. The purpose of the grants to support the implementation of school improvement plans that specifically address reaching ABC's goals. State Representative Carolyn Russell of Goldsboro has been appointed to the Legislative Study Commission on Schools, a 16-member group that will study such issues as equity in the public schools, the ABC's program, and funding. The commission will make recommendations to this year's session of the General Assembly. 3rd District Congressman Walter B. Jones Jr. is calling for written testimony from anyone who wants to be heard on the growing menace of the toxin Pfiesteria, which is killing fish and making people sick along eastern North Carolina rivers and streams. Jones has also introduced legislation calling for a concentrated state and federal effort to include $1.5 million this year for research at North Carolina State University, where a professor first discovered the toxin. The control of hazardous waste and its effects on the public is a major concern at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Officials emphasize the base is doing everything possible to control hazardous waste produced by the base from spilling into the environment. Great strides have been made in controlling such waste as a result of work with the Department of Defense and civilian agencies. Such strides include various composting projects and the cleanup of contaminated soil areas. The base has a goal to reduce hazardous waste by 50% by the year 1999. Social Security is on the way to reinstating an internet service that will provide taxpayers access to calculations of their future retirement benefits. The service will not make worker earning histories available online. The more limited service will be available by the end of this month and will include additional privacy and security features. Sources say the service is the agency's response to privacy concerns last year when it began offering access to personal earnings and benefit records on the internet. That's a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR.
Still soggy ground out there, but at least the air will be dry for today before we get another blast of wet weather. Today, a mixed bag of sunshine, high clouds, seasonably cool, upper 40s to low 50s for the high. Then tonight, the clouds thicken up across the region, mid to upper 30s for the overnight low. And as we head into tomorrow, a cloudy day with occasional light rain in the morning, becoming more steady through the afternoon. Look for highs tomorrow to hold in the 40s. I'm meteorologist Chris Thompson in the Weather Center.
Performing my job with flawless broadcast excellence, this is Rush Limbaugh on WGBR. We are back. Serving humanity, Rush Limbaugh's talent on loan from God. Executing assigned host duties flawlessly, zero mistakes, using all of my highly trained broadcast specialties at 1-800-282-2882. I just snuck a quick peek in there at the Mike McCurry press conference that's ongoing. McCurry is not comfortable and is not answering too many questions. The president has released a statement in which he says that he has never engaged in any improper or inappropriate behavior with this woman, Monica Lewinsky. Sam Donaldson and the rest of the press corps apparently are on the prowl on this, saying, will you put the word sexual in this statement, Mike? Mike says statement speaks for itself. Inappropriate, improper means all. But Donaldson persists. Why won't the president say he's never had any sexual relations? Will the president say he's never had any sexual? The statement stands as it is, Sam. Deborah Orr of the New York Post. Mike, we've been asking you all morning. This is the third time now. Does the president's statement that he's never engaged in any improper behavior, inappropriate behavior with Monica Lewinsky mean that he hasn't had sexual? The statement speaks for itself. So they will not specifically address the question of sexual involvement with Monica Lewinsky in the statement. They won't expressly touch it. They use the word, it's either inappropriate or improper. He's never engaged in any inappropriate or improper behavior. The reason McCurry gives for not expanding is that the lawyers wrote the statement and that the president approved it. Scott Pelley, one of the White House press corps members from CBS News, I believe, said, what'd the president say when he was shown the statement? McCurry said, it's fine. Pelley said, that's it? He said, fine? The president of the United States looked at the statement and said, that's fine? That's all he said? I'm not going to comment any further, Scott. This is a matter for the council. So that's the basic tone. The press corps even now is continuing to press here, and they're sharks in the water. They are behaving like sharks in the water on this. They're coming out. This is maybe one of these times where they say we're not going to get stonewalled anymore. This one we're not going to accept the stonewall. Who knows? Maybe they could all be trying to impress Sam Donaldson. Whoever knows what the reason is, but they're acting a lot tougher and more pointed in there than I've seen them in quite a while. Brooklyn, this is Lou. You're next on the Rush Limbaugh program. Hi.
Yes, Rush, thank you. Precious Ditto from Brooklyn.
You bet.
Okay, you know, I have a different take on Stephanopoulos' comment this morning about the idea of this all leading to the Clintons' impeachment situation. This reminds me of the possibility of Clinton losing his political support and political base. It's a throwback to the time when Nixon had the problems with Watergate, and I remember he was holding on. His support in Congress was pretty solid until the 18-minute gap in the tapes, and he gave up the tapes, and little by little, his support in Congress started to erode. And eventually this led to the reality, I think, that Nixon had, that he just couldn't continue fighting on and trying to hold on to his presidency, and he took the decision to resign. I suppose while Stephanopoulos is not one of the major plays in the party, he's nonetheless making such a comment, and he was one of the major Clinton apologists in his first term.
Okay, I still don't get the point. What do you think if he doesn't really mean that it could lead to impeachment proceedings? What are you saying that he really means?
No. What I'm saying is that the mere comment that a man like Stephanopoulos mentioned the fact that impeachment proceedings could ensue here, that as a result of this latest scandal. That perhaps other members of Congress, of the party rather, the Democratic Party, might start to insinuate and intimate that possibly there might be something here, Mr. President, and I think that perhaps you might have to put a little more control on it, or maybe even consider resigning. I'm just reading it.
Well, then I misunderstood you, because I thought you said that Stephanopoulos. Well, never mind. Now I understand what you meant. I thought you were saying Stephanopoulos' comment didn't mean any trouble for Clinton.
No. I meant just that. It does mean trouble. My take on it is
but then why do you... I'm getting real confused, because didn't you start out by saying you had another take? Because that is exactly my take.
Okay, that's fine. That was my take. I used the word another. Perhaps I should have said my take, and I agree with you. And,
all right. Well, no, it's all right. You can have your take. I was waiting for something different from what I said, and I didn't hear it. So
I don't know if you alluded to the fact that he might start to lose his political support in Congress. I don't know if you alluded to that.
No, I didn't.
Well, that's what I'm alluding to. I'm stating that this might be the very beginning of the chipping away of the apologists in the Clinton party, who've steadfastly supported this man throughout all of the scandals in his administration, all the malfeasance that this man has been committing. And now, little by little, here you have a Stephanopoulos who is, as you would agree, was probably one of his most ardent supporters and apologists in his first administration. And so that my feeling is that this might be the very little slow beginning of perhaps the realization.
If so, it's because not even liberals in Congress can figure out a way to excuse perjury or obstruction of justice. If this were just about an affair, that would be easy. But if it's that other angle, then they would have no choice. And of course, there's a guy watching all this today who will never allow himself to be seen smiling at this news. I'll guarantee you he is. And that's Mr. Gephardt. Oh yeah, you got to know Gephardt's loving this. And so are all those other Democrats who've been thinking about getting in this race, but haven't decided to. Utica, this is Chad. Glad you called, sir. Welcome to the EIB Network.
Mega dittos, Rush.
Thank you.
This is so unconscionable. I think that you're going to sway, not that you will, but the president will sway many of the soccer moms against him. And I think this is something that many of the soccer moms will relate to, and therefore I think you have definite grounds for impeachment.
Well, okay, what is he going to sway the soccer moms to? What is it they're going to relate to?
Well, just that, if their daughters or sons are still, it's just this age thing, 23 years old.
So you think these soccer moms are going to look at Bill Clinton and say, I thought you cared about my kids. I didn't think that if I sent my 20-year-old daughter to the White House, you'd end up bedding her.
Exactly. Yeah. It's unconscionable. Unconscionable.
I did speculate at the top of the program. I wonder if this will wake up the soccer moms, because this is about daughters. And they've up till now, this is true, one of the things that you go ahead and find the soccer mom woman. Go out and find that profile of that woman. And you will get her to tell you two things. She'll say, so what if he has affairs? My husband cheats on me too. But she will say, Bill Clinton cares more about my kids than my husband does. And my child's health care. and my child's education, and my child's not pulling the trigger on a gun, you know, safety stickers in gun shops, you know, don't let your children, my president cares more about my kids than my husband does. And now this is a possibility that the soccer moms of America could do a 180. Wait a minute, I didn't think that if I sent my little girl to be an intern at the White House that this would happen to her. Naples, Florida, this is Stan. Hello, sir, glad you're with us.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Greetings from Naples, Florida.
Thank you, sir, very much.
I'm wondering why the Democratic Party doesn't just offer President Clinton on a platter and say, we can't put up with this in our party.
You are getting way ahead of yourself. Now, this is what I've cautioned you people against. I am starting to detect way, way, way too much on this program. It's time that I, as host, stepped in. Virtually all the calls that we've had from people are assuming guilt. Virtually all the calls that we've had on this program today are from people who are assuming victory here. And I caution you that we are nowhere near that. Just use the experience you all have the last 5 years. You've got to be as skeptical of this mattering as you have been as skeptical of anything else. I don't say that you shouldn't pay attention to it. Of course you should, but be skeptical. We're dealing with the most artful dodger we've ever had in the White House here. You ask, why don't the Democrats toss him overboard? They toss themselves overboard if they do that. They're not going to toss him overboard yet. This little bit of news here. They're going to exploit the Republicans are responsible for it angle as long and as hard as they can. I think, let me just put it to you this way. It may happen by the end of this day. If certainly not by the end of this day, it's going to happen this week. And you'd better prepare yourselves for this. You're going to see the president presented as a victim, a man with whom we should sympathize, a man for whom we should feel sorry. Mark my words, there will be those who try it. They will be Clinton defenders, some members of Congress. You will see it on television shows that you watch. You may even see some unbiased members of the press engage in it, and you will be infuriated. You will call me tomorrow mad as hell. And then you'll be wondering in a couple of days, where are the Republicans? How come they're letting this one slip away? And I just caution you to get ready for this, because if anybody knows how to mount a defense, if anybody knows how to mount a spin to extricate themselves from this kind of thing, it's this administration. They're better at it than anybody else has ever been. You're going to see the Lanny Davises of the world out all over television this afternoon and tonight. They're working on the story now. They're working on the spin. It'll involve making of the president a victim. And you will watch with incredulity when you hear this. I don't know what it's going to be, but mark my words, you will be incredulous at some of the defenses that are offered. And then you will worry, oh my gosh, are the soccer moms going to buy this? Be the same old, same old. They're working on it now. McCurry's just out there stalling during this press conference while they're working on it. Mark my words, my friends. Do not assume. I mean, don't have it. When is the Democratic Party going to throw the guy overboard? The answer to that question is when they decide to throw themselves overboard, and they'll never decide to throw themselves overboard.